right. I'm excited today to welcome you guys to the SIRS Investment Group. This is a project that I've had my eye on for a while, and I've, listened to all the AMAs myself. I've gone over the white paper, and I really like it. We have a couple of the team members today. In fact, I think we have the owner or one of the top echelon with us, and we have one of the main marketers with us as well. How you guys doing? What's going on today?
I'm doing pretty good. This is the second AMA I'm doing today. I did another one like a couple hours ago, and we got like three or four more lined up for this like later this week. So
Yeah, man.
just really getting to
it. The grind is beginning. The marketing's beginning. The lack of sleep is beginning. But I think it's going to pay off. You guys have a product here that looks really good. I'm excited to talk about it. I think the best way to get started would be to just get, I'm going to get Mr. Worf to, if he's okay with it, introduce himself and maybe talk about, what was the inspiration that got you started with this project? It's obviously a crypto project, so you obviously have crypto experience under your belt, and I've been listening to a few of the other AMAs, and you seem to have quite a business acumen and quite a honorable inspiration kind of behind what you do. So I'd love if people could maybe hear some of a little bit about that, a little bit about yourself and your team and your inspiration behind everything.
Sure. And can you bring Mbai and Jai up as well? He's one of our team members.
Absolutely. Just get him.
You sound really quiet to me, by the way.
Yeah, I use my headphones. Let me see if this works. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me better now?
I can
a little better to me.
Can the other person put their hand up who I need to unmute? That would just make it a bit easier. Ah, there we go.
I'll just try to speak a little louder. I have about 15 years business experience. I've been a business owner since I was 24, 25 years old. Started in the mental health business, and I own a few of those. Also consult, and I'm an angel investor. Mbai Jai is actually the CEO of a tech startup. He's been the CEO of that for 7 years, and he's part of the team as well. And he has a social justice startup, and he connected me with one of his contacts out in Atlanta who had recently been released from prison for weed and weapons charges. And he has an interesting story, but he smuggled phones into prison, was able to invest in Bitcoin, and really became kind of engrossed in the crypto space. So when he got released about a year ago, he came out and we talked about his experience, and along with Mbai and what his background was, we talked about how we could enter the space and potentially do some good as well. We kind of chose the topic of our game based on his life experiences, and part of it is to destigmatize some of the aspects that surround some of the lighter drugs like weed and improper sentencing and things of that nature. So we kind of wanted to gamify it, but also kind of use it as an educational tool to spark conversation. So whenever people ask us about a project, whenever they ask us about, why is it centered around drugs and smuggling and things of that nature, it really gives us an opportunity to talk about some of the things that we believe in. So he brought his real life experience. I brought my business experience and crypto savvy, and we started with just creating a play to earn game, which kind of expanded to an ecosystem because as we dug deeper into some of the numbers, we realized that certain populations aren't even in the crypto space, and what a humongous opportunity that is, right? I'm in the U.S., and I think from the U.S. standpoint, crypto is 86% like white men. So there's all these other populations and ethnic groups that aren't even in the space yet. So we really want to, focus on bringing, not just crypto buyers and crypto savvy folks to the project, but we actually started reaching out to folks who haven't even dabbled in the crypto yet. And the majority of our seed investors are actually sophisticated Web2 investors. So, we kind of talked about releasing those names, and we'll do that in the next upcoming weeks. But we really do have a good foundation of traditional business advisors, traditional business investors, and backers, because we're trying to avoid that. Oh, we get a 2x and we dump it type scenario with the company. So uh, it started with the game. We've increased it to developing a mini game as well, which again, we're just to the cosmetic phases of it. And then we've really started developing a music platform to get Web2 hip hop artists in the space who really don't know about crypto either. So we've been doing pretty well at that as well.
That's incredible, man. I really love that you see that there's this group of people who really could utilize what's going on here with Web3 and really the cryptoverse and the new opportunities and really abundant opportunities, if the truth be told, are available. We definitely need more people to find that out. Yeah, man, I really appreciate that. That's inspirational. How did your team come together? How did you meet Sad? How did that sort of connection happen?
I was a whale in one of his previous projects. So I think I've known him for almost a year now. And I measure crypto in dog years. So
Yeah,
it feels like a 7-year long relationship.
I know, man. Wow.
So yeah, so we were thinking about working on a separate project kind of involving music. Because our co-founder Quay has really strong roots in the music community in Detroit and Atlanta, and then it kind of evolved into this project that we're doing here. So that's how the music aspect kind of came in. Ben has a background in music. He's been in a band. He mixes and masters. He produces. So that's helped a little bit. But that's kind of how we came together, and we kind of decided to expand this project from what we started with, just the P2E, to kind of an ecosystem to onboard a wide range of people.
That's awesome. I know that Sad has a good experience and actually quite a few excellent portfolio type things to his name. I think you guys make an excellent team, and I just really wanted to know. I wanted the investors to know a little bit about you and a little bit about just the background and the heart behind the project before we really jumped into what the P2E is, how to play it, and all that, typical crypto stuff that we'll get into really soon here.
Sure.
So let's see here. Let's get into the project then. Maybe give us a brief overview. It's really a multifaceted project. Like you were saying, it's not just a P2E. You've got other things that are growing and coming to fruition as well as that. But maybe let's start with the P2E. And maybe Sad wants to talk about this. I'm not sure how you guys want to do that, but tell us a little bit about how it's going to work and just overview it for us, and then maybe I'll ask some more specific questions about the game and the ecosystem after that.
Sure. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto meets Farmville. It's the 4 aspects of the drug trade. So there's growing it, there's smuggling, there's selling, and then the way that you actually earn our token, which is cash token, is by successfully laundering your dirty money into clean money. And basically, it's a risk mitigation game, right? Certain NFTs give you boost or reduce risk inside the game. You can lease NFTs from other people if you don't have them, because we tried to build it so that it's not a pay to earn game; it's a play to earn game. So you can play for free. It's obviously more difficult because you're an army of one, but you can connect with other people inside the game to play as well. To get a wider audience, we introduced a mini game, which is Street Craps. So you can shoot dice and earn the in-game currency. which is the Benjamins, and bring that into the full play to earn game and launder that into cash as well.
That's awesome. So Cash is the name of the native token, and the native token will be used within the game in many different ways. So that makes Cash token really important. You mentioned NFTs, and you know what I actually forgot to get you to talk about that was that you guys are not a BSC project, you're a Polygon project. It's going to be Matic that you buy into the private sale with. Why did you guys choose Polygon? I should have asked this first. Why did you choose Polygon? What excites you about that that DeFi ecosystem?
So a couple of things. One, it is a game, and we had to be wary of transaction cost and cost to play the game. So we were looking at a chain that was close to feeless. BNB, especially in the bear market and the launchpad space, I have been BSC burnout to be honest with you. I feel like a lot of projects don't have the kind of reputation that we wanted to be associated with, especially now. But then Polygon, I see as the chain that's kind of trying to define itself as the go-to gaming chain in the space. You know, and we wanted to be where the gamers were going to be because, you know, that is the foundation and the basis of the project. As we continue to expand out, a lot of music NFTs also happen to be on Polygon just because, you know, ease of use and the reduction of minting costs and things of that nature. So, you know, when we're trying to reach a new audience, especially one that's not involved in Web3, the level of friction in trying to explain that, yes, you know, you have to pay $20 to you know, process the purchase of an NFT was a bit much. So.
Yeah, especially for people maybe who, you know, they like mobile games and it's a part of their life, but they're not too familiar with crypto or making money off of something. So yeah, that could be a pill to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, when I came in, you know, and really started making moves in the crypto space and getting heavy into it, it was the bull run, and you know, ETH transactions were in the hundreds. You know, you can't go to an audience or a new crowd with no experience in the Web3 and explain that away. So, you know, some of our roadmap items are actually, you know, we will fund all of the minting costs and things of that nature for new artists coming onto the platform. So, you know, we want to make reduce the friction as much as possible for onboarding new individuals into the space. And I think that is, you know, one of the key foundations of our project is that we are, you know, we built something for people in the space with the P2E, but we are actively performing outreach and reaching folks who are, you know, not familiar with crypto in the Web3 space.
Very nice. Very nice. So many different areas, like ways I could go with that. That's one of the reasons I love these AMAs and meeting people from all over the world and with different backgrounds and visions, and it's such a creative, incredibly what's the word for it? Hopeful space. I love everything about it, man. Let's talk a little bit more about the NFTs in the game. As you can see here, I'm sharing on the screen. There's quite a bit to it, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually, I think, a good thing. So how many NFTs are there going to be available, and how many? Maybe just kind of try to help us to understand how we're going to make money, not just by owning the NFT and like reselling the NFT like most people do with PFPs, but this, because it's a P2E, you're going to use those NFTs in the game. And of course, some are going to make you more cash than others. And you've also got like different really interesting multi-compounding aspects to this game where NFTs will be used every time during the process. It's really quite wild, man.
Right. And just to let you know, the website, that is still just concept art. That's the website that we originally started with. So the actual NFTs don't look like that. We've just been focusing all of our time on finishing the game, so we really haven't updated the website with the actual NFTs yet. But if you go to our Instagram, you'll see promotional videos that actually have the finished NFTs in them. So yeah, basically the function of the NFTs in the game are one, they provide basic utilities. For instance, you can own a farm NFT, which is, weed, a poppy field, things of that nature. Those NFTs will generate the products or the narcotics that you can sell in a marketplace for the users, or you can continue it along the path, right? Uh, and you do not have to have NFTs in order to play the game. It just makes it easier, right? You can purchase cash and you can buy drugs directly from the market and you can sell them. So there are default methods in all of this, right? So for smuggling, we have transportation NFTs, which are speedboats, airplanes, trucks, and the default method is muling, which are just people transporting the narcotics for you. And there's various amounts of drugs that you can transport. Some of them transports faster than others. That's what that does. When you get them to the city, there are distribution NFTs, which allow you to sell, larger amounts or allow you to sell them quicker, right? And then the last part is the laundering aspect of the game, and they're essentially stores or businesses. And the cool part about that is, we'll be partnering with, clothing stores and Web2 businesses, and we will integrate their name exposure in the Web3 space as well. So we kind of have a basic, rudimentary integration right now. We don't have the full, integration yet where you can actually go to the stores and buy real goods. But that's on the roadmap. But that's another way just to get, Web2 businesses into the Web3 space. And then, that reduces the amount of risk of seizure of laundering your funds, and it increases the amount of funds you can launder at any given time. So, yeah, I think that's one of our promo videos. Yeah, so if you want to play that, that's one of the videos that's featuring some of the artists that we have contributing music to the ecosystem. So I think we have about 20 so far in the Memphis and Atlanta hip hop scene, and we're growing, more and more every day.
Yeah, I was just trying to. Sorry, I didn't mean there for there to be sound there. I was trying to get like a video. I'm on your actual Telegram. You guys have quite a few really well put together videos that kind of show what the NFTs look like and kind of give an idea of just how the game works. I shared one at the bottom of our Telegram here. I just always find that it's good to have something visual as well as hearing. So. Please, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue going if I interrupted you at all there. Oh, I can't hear you now.
Sorry, and that's the basis of the game. And then there are ways that you can earn cash by, if you can establish yourself as the go-to smuggler in the game, right? Let's say you don't want to grow, you don't want to sell, you don't want to launder. You can purchase and own a fleet of airplanes or a fleet of speedboats, and you can put those into the market, and you will get a percentage of the drugs and the cash that are smuggled from point A to point B. You can do the same thing with laundering businesses, right? Let's say you only want to be a launderer. You can make your money by lending your businesses to other users to launder their money at a more efficient and a reduced risk rate that way. We have special syndicate NFTs like an accountant, a smuggler, a narco that reduces risk and increased boost inside the game. You can also lend out these folks for a percentage of whatever they participate in. So we tried to make it so everyone can find their own niche You don't have to play from beginning to end. You can assume a specific role in the game, or you can try to be a kingpin, which is, setting up aspects in all 4 levels of the game, which is growth, smuggling, selling, and laundering.
I really like it. Just explain to the investors here, how would one get started? Okay, so you launch your token. I get a bunch of cash, KASH, as in the native token. I'm getting myself ready for your marketplace to be released so I can get my NFTs. What will the pricing be like? Just like, what were our baseline just to be able to get started and start playing and start earning? What kind of investment are we looking at?
So honestly, to start, it's free, right? We have an avatar that gives you access to the ecosystem, which is also free. But to start playing the game, you just need a moderate amount of cash to play. It's really about, how fast and on what scale you want to play the game. And again, that was put in place because we wanted to reduce friction and have the interest point to be as low as possible for users.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And if somebody's really savvy, how much do you think that they could make from a game in a day?
So we were really trying to shoot to being able to make between 50 and $100 a day. That really depends on, how many NFTs they own, how long they're playing. We do have level ups in the game as well, but they are kind of time based and they take cash to also do the upgrades. But that was the sweet spot. We wanted someone who was really invested, really putting in the time to be able to make between 50 and $100 a day. And, some of that is dependent upon, what the price of cash is, what the price of Matic is, and things of that nature. Some of that's outside of our control. But we want to make it lucrative enough that people invest in the game and play it.
Okay, very cool. All right. Let's see, what time are we at here? Oh, we got lots of time. That's good. Okay, so you mentioned that there's a bunch of different types of NFTs that you can purchase. So obviously you'll start off with your character, but you can upgrade your character. Is there just aesthetic upgrades, or will there be like different upgrades that'll make your character more potent? And say you don't want to just play the game. Say you want to kind of be, and I know you kind of mentioned this, I'm just trying to making a little bit more, slowing it down a little bit. Say you don't want to actually just play, but maybe you want to rent something out, or you want to be like a business owner or something like that. Is there other opportunities that you can make passive income with on this game other than being like somebody who starts from the bottom and tries to work the way up from the top? Are there any niches in between?
So yeah, I mean, you described it right. Any of the assets that you own in the game, you can lease out up to and including your syndicate members. So if you owned a fleet of businesses, you can lease those out to people who have large amounts of dirty money on hand, who need to launder it quickly, right? And that's why when we talked about, how much money can you make, we were trying to do between 50 and $100, but it really just depends on, how you play the game, right? There are controls on, how much money you can launder in a given day, but you can increase that amount and you can reduce the risk by, working with others, paying a laundering fee to other business owners. You can do the same thing with, doing a smuggling business, right? If you own a fleet of boats or you own a fleet of trucks or airplanes or a combination of all three, and you partner with a bunch of farmers who have a bunch of product on hand, you can literally make passive cash just by leasing out your NFTs in the marketplace. And that goes for every level in the game. So, right now it is, the foundation of the game is to be able to interact with other people as we continue to enact the roadmap, which obviously is going to go towards a full world where you can interact live. But that's what we were trying to build. So that's what we put in place in the first iteration of the game. Is a model where you can interact with people that way and develop your own niche in a game.
Yeah, I love that, man. All right. Let's see. Let's move on to some other aspects of this project. So the P2E, I think it's kind of straightforward if you've played these sorts of games before, except for maybe the processing is a little bit different. You get your NFT. There's different rarities of the NFT. I think there's probably different rarities in every single area of all of the NFTs, whether it be land that you're owning or a field. There'll probably be like one field that has a better location than another, because it is kind of a metaverse-esque game, open world. So I'm thinking that you'll have to choose your property wisely and choose your locations wisely and all that sort of jazz. It looks like actually a fun video game, even just to play, like on the entertainment scale. How long have you guys been working on it?
7.5 months, and we're using SIG technology, and they've done work with Doge Dash. They did the first iteration of Steppin'. So they have a lot of experience in developing not just play to earn games, but games in general, PC and mobile games. So we did go with an experienced developer on that. We actually have 3 total working on the project. We have a separate development team working on the music marketplace and the universal media player. So yeah, it should be fun. We had to make some concessions, with the mechanics of the game to make sure that the game would be fun itself. And like I said, SIG technology was really great in advising and helping us make those changes.
Very cool. Okay, so the dice kind of like side game. That has my attention, man. That looks like a lot of fun. Looks like I could lose a lot of money though, because I just have bad luck with stuff with dice. I don't know. I just have bad luck. But someone's going to win a lot of money. Tell us a little bit about the dice game.
Yeah, that's another way to get Web2 users into the Web3 space. So you do not have to connect a wallet to play the dice game, but it uses the in-game currency in the dice game. So we're using that as an onboarding point to get people into the project. And then we can say, hey, you're sitting on 50,000 Benjamins. Let me tell you what else you can use that for, right? Let me tell you what else you can do and what else you can access. So it's kind of like the door from Web 2 into Web 3. And we planted some of those things throughout the ecosystem. Because again, getting a new clientele base into the space was a part of the project. Starting with the initial investors into the people who are going to use the project as well.
Mm. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the more ambitious part of your project, which would be creating a creator sort of marketplace, something for, I believe it's more than just music, or is it just music that you'd be focusing on with the other aspects of this business?
So we're focused on multiple aspects, right? The avatar is supposed to be a means of getting Web 2 businesses in the Web 3 space via wearables, specifically African American businesses in the U.S. And we've already spoken with 7 clothing brands in Atlanta, including Dope Boy and Block 125. I don't know if anybody on the call is from the U.S., but Block 25 is a rapper, a pretty big clothing designer, and pretty big cultural icon for hip hop here. And then, the music platform will also feature artists as well. So it's not just music. We're trying to be a landing board for new folks into the Web3 space. So we want to get them in the same community with our, Web3 users. So they kind of commingle. There's a little crossbreeding there. And it helps make the job a little bit easier getting, the dice players and the avatar users into the full ecosystem as well.
That's really cool. Yeah, so that has to do with like the P2E and that sort of thing. But I think you guys are building you're building a content creator platform as well. Is that correct? I think that's just one more aspect. I think you have even more aspects to this project than just even the content creators. But when it comes to the content creator marketplace, I saw and I've heard from reading some of the things on your webpage and looking through your Telegram that you guys are going to be doing that as well. And will it be with music, or what type of content creator marketplace are you guys looking at creating?
So the low hanging fruit is music. In Web3, there's not a really big established hip hop scene here, so that's what we're starting with. And we've had meetings with some pretty high ranking folks in the music industry. We spoke to Jeff Burrows, who was a 25-year bad boy executive. We're in the process of setting up a meeting with Charlene Thomas, who was the executive vice president of Def Jam, who have seen our pitch deck. We've spoken to them on the phone, and they're very interested in this because Web3 is the next movement in music. That's where the eyes are focused. And so we do have some corporate interest in what we're building right now. So, yeah, that's what we're starting with in the creator platform. I also have bigger goals for that as well. Part of the dice game and part of the reason we chose that is we want content creators to create content around the dice game. I think that's a little bit more engaging because you can play with other people real time and wager money. And so we've been reaching out to Facebook gamers who are in like the Madden community, who already kind of have that feel of interacting with, communities they've already developed to kind of work with our project and create content around that. We think that, strong content creators, strong games, strong music over the next, 12 to 18 months is going to be really huge, especially when it comes to bringing in, other projects and marketing dollars. Because I know you saw our roadmap. The big thing that we're leading towards is creating our own L1 blockchain, and we're already in talks with our dev team on that as well.
Wonderful. Yeah, like I said, I really like what you guys are creating here. You mentioned the marketing there. Let's move over into marketing now. That's always really important for all the investors. Most of the questions that we get asked are usually has to do with marketing. I don't blame them. Everybody wants to make money, and they understand that you can have the best project going, but if nobody knows about it, then it is what it is. So for you guys, what is your approach going to be like from here until until launch, and then short term, midterm, long term marketing plans? How are you guys approaching it? Are there any sort of partnerships? I know you mentioned you've been speaking with Def Jam. Are there any partnerships that you have signed yet? Yeah, just talk to us a little bit about that, if you could, please.
Do you want to take the short to midterm, Ben?
Yeah, I was going to kind of jump in here. So I guess there's a lot of different ways to answer that. I think I don't want to say investors, but people that buy into cryptocurrencies are asking about marketing. They're basically trying to judge, like, when will there be this mass awareness happening of the project, and when can I buy in before that, or when can I buy in relation to that to make sure that the token I'm buying will increase in value. I think that's how most people look at it. Like, oh, they're going to spend on marketing at a specified event. They're going to have 20 call channels all in a row, shout them out, and then they're going to like blow up, and there's going to be an ATH, and they're going to sell the ATH or something like that. I think really most people that are focusing on marketing are probably looking at it in a short term of what the project even is. If it's a project that can support itself, it's not reliant on just like what kind of crypto marketing will make it most buoyant, basically. Like, will make the price go up. I'm the CMO on this project, and I've been CMO on probably 5 or 6 cryptocurrencies in the last 2 years or so. And I have a crypto marketing agency and work with all kinds of different tokens and stuff, or I have over the last 2 years. And so just in my assessment, how crypto marketing works is you have these same channels everybody uses over and over again, much like this channel right here. You guys are a call channel, AMA channel, have different groups of investors and things like that that you work with and promote tokens to. So there's like probably like 12 types of like just standardized crypto marketing that everybody uses. And of course, this project's going to use that as well, and that's what we're in the middle of doing right now. Um, so we are going to do it in a probably an event-based manner, I would say, for most marketing. Um, and so that would be pre-launch at milestones with the roadmap at key things releasing, things like that. There's going to be coordinated marketing. And again, like pretty much any project's gonna do that by default. Like they're gonna have marketing around whatever they're doing. Just most projects don't do that much past launch in this space. So it's like they launch, they have marketing, a week later, they're past their all-time high, and they just kind of fizzle out into to nothing until they just kind of stop existing. Because this is a project that's like an actual business, it's business oriented, it's trying to actually build things regardless to do with the token paying for it. Um, this is something that is long term where we will be having marketing at future events past the launch date itself. So there's the release of the game, the release of the NFTs, the release of broader things on the roadmap like the music NFTs and the marketplace for it, or even, I don't even know if we mentioned it, but potentially having a blockchain down the line. All these are events where marketing will be oriented around. Um, so I think in that regard, there's a very high level of experience between myself and a few other people that are doing marketing or crypto advertising one way or another on this project. So like we do have the caliber to pick good call channels, to make sure that we have sweep widget contests, make sure that we're doing airdrops, to make sure that we're doing pretty much everything in our ability with the budget that we can use that's not wasteful, um, to market the token, you know. And I mean, it's just like a straightforward question that like we are going to be doing all those things, but I want people to kind of think broader than just like what is the marketing we're doing, more than like what is the worth of our project? Is it actually valuable? Does it bring utility to the world? Will people want to buy it regardless of anything to do with the chart? That's how I'd want to frame things, how people I think should be looking at this project, because it's not just a pump and dump meme token or something like that, which I think you had, as a host, already acknowledged, that this is something that's more legitimate. And it's rare in this like bear market that there's a lot of projects that have like serious worth or even launching. I mostly see the emus and the I don't know, the dog coins and things like that launching in this market. I think when it's more of like a bull market, you do see, you know, more legitimate projects that just like come very rapidly, but they're like kind of rare right now because like a lot of people are holding off and waiting until the market's better 6 months from now, who knows when, to put out like their very serious projects. So we're one of the few projects coming out that's very serious, that has money put into it, that's already like pre-funded, that's coming out. And I know this is like a sketchy time to be putting out a full project like that for a couple of reasons, but it's also a good time for a few other reasons as well. So if you launch a project like that, like this in this market, you know, it is kind of like a big fish in a small pond. So it's something where it's very easy to trend. It's very easy to show up in like top gainers on websites and things like that. Like if we just have a couple good days, basically. Um, so that's how the whole project's kind of being framed marketing wise, is that like, you know, we view ourselves as being a very legitimate project. We think we're, you know, this is a fully doxed project, audited. People's faces are showing up in calls like this. Like it's rare to see that right now in these launching projects. And so I know the people listening, that if there are people that buy into these things, they're probably thinking short term of just 2x's, 3x's come in and out. But I just want people to really, like, I want to challenge people listening to be like, hey, this is actually like one of the rare long-term holds that is launching in this space right now. Like, you really should at least be holding your, like, pull maybe your principal out, keep a bag in this token, you know, long-term, like for the whole roadmap of the project, not just like, you know, come in and out like within a week just to get your cheap gains, because people will be able to do that. And a lot of people will do that regardless of anything I say or whoever on the project will say, because that's just how the space works. But for anyone that's coming into our AMAs, like I do want like to push people to think about that look, like if we are launching something with all these different influencers, musicians, we have a blockchain, we have this whole feasible ecosystem which we're saying we can do, and I don't feel like we're over promising in saying that. Um, then I think people should understand like this is actually something they should really be looking at the white paper on and listening to what we're possibly doing and what's going to be happening in the future, and that this is a good place to be putting their money in the short to midterm, even in the long term. So I kind of went on a little rant there, but that's my answer.
No, it's all good. And we've talked, and I agree with the sentiment that this space tends to be very short on the patient side, and it's almost like there's a lack of maturity. You want your gains right now, then you want to go to the next thing. But I think that people are going to miss out if they see things that way, and I think people miss out every day.
Mbai has something to add on the marketing front as well, because I know Ben spoke to the Web3 side of that and his expertise. Mbai, did you want to jump up and talk about some of the things that you were working on and who you connected us with as well?
Yeah. On the other side of it, so for Legal Equalizer, my company, we're have a marketing PR firm called Lippy Taylor who represents us, and they've been ranked one of the top 5 mid-sized PR firms in the country for the past few years running. And so one of the things they've allowed me to do is for the next 3 or 4 months, I get to write about 3 or 4 articles a month for Forbes. And so I already wrote our first one, which we mentioned, The Gay Man, and that article already has, I think, 20,000 views on it already. And so, I'm going to try to mention, the project and stuff in as many of those articles as possible, if I can tie it in as possible. And then whenever I do have media opportunities and things like that, then there'll be something where I'll be mentioning this as well. So those are other things that we'll have for marketing.
And when we talk about well connected, the CEO of Lippy Taylor is one of our classmates. That's where me and Bob met 20 years ago in college. The gentleman who is a team member, equity owner, Vincent Benjamin, connected us with Jeff Burrows, the Def Jam executive. He's one of our classmates as well, known him from over 20 years, has a Harvard MBA. He's in a director position at Microsoft right now and manages, I think, a $2 billion P&L for them. So when I say we have sophisticated and connected investors, these are the kind of folks that we're dealing with right now. So when Ben says, we have a high confidence that we are not over promising what we can deliver, these are things that, aren't very public at the moment, just because we're working on, getting the product out, keeping our head down and pushing through. But once we get it out, those are some of the things that are going to start coming to light as we do the website, as we start listing some of our strategic partnerships, some of our strategic investors and things of that nature. They seep out here and there in the AMAs, but again, it's not really something that we've pushed or highlighted. But when, a lot of teams say they have a lot going on behind the scenes, we literally have a ton of things going on behind the scenes. I mean, the last time I was on an AMA, I was jumping between the AMA and a call with Machine Gun Kelly's manager at the same time, right? So we just have, all of these folks who have all of these connections. And for whatever reason, they are very intrigued and interested in our project, and they want to be a part of it.
So basically, they had the exact same response that I did, and I think that almost anyone does when they see what you guys are building here. The depth of the team, of the marketing team, it just looks really good, and even down to your designers, the art, the little video clips that you guys put onto your Telegram, like all of these different, just little things. They're not even big things. Tell me something about the level of execution that you guys are really after here. It's not just little pump and dump token, here for 3 seconds and then rug pull type thing. You guys are really going for it and putting your excellence into it. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think that if people can just get their eyes on this, they'll feel the same. So that's really cool. The social justice aspect of this project also really catches my eye. I think that's something that is very real and important to a lot of people right now in this time of our being here on this earth, I guess you could say. So, okay, that's the marketing aspect. I'm going to open up for questions from the community really soon here. But before I do that, I just really want to quickly touch on some tokenomics and contract-esque type things. So the first question that I'll ask, because I know that I'll get it from the investors, is which audits will you guys have performed for this project, and will you be getting more than one?
So the first audit that we had performed was Contract Wolf. If you go to our token page, you can see it, and we will get more than one. I will say what we found is, again, we work with reputable developers, is what they put the code through is oftentimes much stronger than what the auditors put the codes through. But we have multiple smart contracts, right? So we have a contract for the creator marketplace as well, that's currently on the test net that we're getting audited. But Contract Wolf is the one that we used to begin with. They seemed pretty reputable when I reached out and spoke with them. But, you know, if there's an outcry from the community that they want a specific auditor or something like that, you know, we're fine with that. You know, we welcome peer review. If there are coders out there in the community or who want to invest in the token and they have specific questions, you know, they can by all means reach out and ask them. But we try to be as transparent as possible.
Okay, cool. And if you guys are taking a look here at the screen, you can see the tokenomics here. So you've got like 4% to the private, you get 10% liquidity, 10% team, 25% community, 10% treasury, and so on and so forth. I won't read them all out. But what I will ask is your taxes on launch, what will those be? And will they be changing, scaling down, or whatnot? Will the sell tax be higher at launch than it will be once it's scaled back down type approach, or what are you guys thinking?
So we're starting at 8%, and that is for early stability. It's 3% marketing, which we plan to actually use for marketing and to attract new musicians and more talent. You know, what we find is we have really talented musicians out there. You know, some of them need $200 for, you know, studio space. We're in the process of planning a concert in Atlanta with 5 people. Very affordable, but, you know, things like that for organic growth to get, you know, new populations into the community. We have 3% for operations. And that's just to pay the staff, moderators, people like Ben, other team members, and then a 2% tax for liquidity. And we do have plans for that to completely go away. We will not increase it, but we will reduce it. Once we get to the point of L1 chain releasing, we won't have a tax on the token at all for obvious reasons. So.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
And part of that is just to let you know the thinking behind that. The team tokens are vesting over 18 months, and you know what I hate is when the community is like, "Oh, well, when do the team tokens vest?" Because there's this assumption that they're going to be dumped as soon as this happens. You can already hear the mentality of our CMO. His team tokens, he's holding them, right? He's not going to dump them. So we want to show that we do have a sustainable business model where our team isn't dependent upon receiving team tokens and dumping them immediately in order to be able to pay for things and to pay for life, right? So it's one of those things where we want to kind of reduce that fear in the community, and they understand that, the people in our seed round, they're holding, the team, they're holding, right? And it is not this constant fear of, oh no, on the first of this month, 20% of the tokens come out. What's going to happen? That's not the mentality, and that's not the environment that we're building in the project.
That's very, very good. I think that will make people more confident. And I think in this space, confidence in the team and trust is really paramount. But I think that you guys are earning it really well right now. So what I've done is I've opened up the questions for the community to ask to you guys here, and we've got quite a few. How do you feel about answering some questions from the community now? Or is there anything maybe that you'd like to go over first before we open it up for questions?
I mean, I'm good to go to the question part.
All right. Okay. So guys, if you have questions and you want to ask on the VC with your voice, you know what to do, put your hand up. So I'm actually going to take a question here from Yellow Lip because I know, are stoked on this. So slow down, guys. I'm trying to unmute this guy and the thing keeps moving. All righty, here we go. Yellow Lip, please. I've unmuted you. Go ahead. You may ask the question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go
Can
ahead.
you hear me? Oh, thanks for the opportunity, RC. Great projects and great presentation. I would say you guys have been doing a great job, because going to your website, you're doing a great thing. Is not usually doing a great job in this marketing situation. So my question is, and it's also a suggestion, I want to ask if you guys can do a videos, because this is a game. Most people will not understand the game, and if you guys can do a video advertising the game and putting it in different languages, and you can like when advertising the game in the videos, you're advertising it in a Chinese way, you teams advertising the game in a Chinese way, because we all know that it's not everybody who understand English. Most people in the Chinese countries don't understand Chinese, but they know when you speak Chinese to them, and in the aspect, you put it in the Chinese community, advertising the game to them, making the Chinese community. You know that most people don't understand reading, but when you do a video to them, don't understand what you're saying. In that aspect, you're going outside the crypto space, and in that aspect, you're attracting more people to come into your project. Thank you.
Were you able to hear that? I wasn't able to hear the question.
I think he wants to know if we plan on doing, when we do our marketing videos, if we'll include different languages. Is that the correct understanding?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you guys can do videos in different languages, that's what I'm saying.
Do you have an idea of like what languages you think we should use?
Yeah, because we don't know that there's some people in the crypto space are like Indian and Chinese and French. Some of them don't understand English. So in that aspect, you can do a video in a Indian speaking way or Chinese speaking way or a French way advertising the project.
I mean, I don't think we have any problems putting in any particular languages. It's just really up to like the level of demand that we see in this project. Like I think this really is like a very American-based project in terms of like just the culture of it, but that doesn't necessarily not include anyone from any other country. And really, you can there can be investors from anything, regardless of what the token's culture or what the token project is about, regardless. So I think in this space, like this is a very diverse space in cryptocurrency, where it feels like I meet more people outside of the English-speaking world than inside the English-speaking world. So it's definitely possible that we could dub it in different languages or just have it translated or something like that. I mean, where it's really more beneficial though, is rather than just the trailer being translated, is if we actually have Telegram groups that are in other languages. I've been on projects where you have, the game France, the game China, the game Turkey, or just stuff like that, and it's just a different language group, and there's a moderator that runs that particular group, and there's investors that come into the project from that language or that country. And so that's definitely something we'll do as long as we see the demand for it. Like it's actually not a cost effective if there's only like a handful of investors that are coming in from that language, because you have to have the moderator, they have to be paid, there has to be coordination for that. But anytime we're going to see something where there's a community and they want to come in on the project and they're legitimately asking, there's really no problem why we would not include them. Basically, we would want them to be part of the token and the ecosystem in the project, just based on their enthusiasm. So, and I think that's standard for every project in the space, really. Just to include as many people as you can, really. Like, it's just in everybody's interest to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of our marketing videos are heavily visual based, and we try to use minimal language. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. We really just need to translate some of the text in the promotional videos, and we actually have a videographer that works with our project exclusively. So I'll talk to him about that today. But that's a very good suggestion. At the very least, we should be updating the text in our videos so that other people can understand them too. So.
Okay, thanks for the great answers. That was really, really great. Thanks for the opportunity, CH. Thanks for a great project, I'll say.
Thanks for your great question, man. I think I tend to agree with him too. The more it's like the culture that's being represented through this game has sort of caught on in so many, like in every country, really. I mean, like everywhere from here to the far Eastern Europe, everybody loves the music. Everybody kind of loves the depiction of the lifestyle. And, I think this could spread all over the place. I think he has actually a really good point there. That's just my opinion. So I'm going to take another question here, actually from the chat. And it's from Albert77. He actually asked 3 questions. So I'm going to ask you 2 of them. The first one is, currently, what do you think could be the main obstacle that could stand in the way of your project's success? And his second question was, who will have full access to the wallet containing the project funds? Will it be the responsibility of one person, or will you be implementing a multi-sig wallet?
Do you want to answer that, Jason, or do you want me to jump in?
Sure, I can. I mean, you can answer the main obstacle if you want to, and I'll throw in my thoughts.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like there's much obstacles to the success of this project, because it's really not dependent on the token doing well for the ecosystem to thrive at the end of the day. I think that's a problem that most tokens or most token-based projects have, is that they are dependent on the token having volume and being at a certain price and being worth something specific for whatever's on the roadmap to actually happen. And if it doesn't happen, then the project just fails and it kind of fades away. Since pretty much most everything on this project is already pre-funded, and things that are later on the roadmap likely don't necessarily need the funding from the token specifically, I don't know what obstacle I'd necessarily even think about at this point. I mean, the biggest obstacle I could ultimately think of is just macro influences, like, the world economy goes into a depression, or cryptocurrency is regulated in a way that makes it very difficult to do business in, or something like that. But those are problems that everybody would have in this space no matter what. So I can't really think of anything small that would be a roadblock at this point. And that's, I think, something that's very unique to this project.
And so, yeah, I'll say the same thing. we're focusing on creating value in the ecosystem, right? And if the value is there, the token has utility above and beyond the utility that we've already baked into it. As far as the regulation concerns, we spoke to a securities attorney in America who specifically has an interest in crypto. And, worst case scenario is you get classified as a security, you pay a fine, you can't raise money for a few years, and you go on about your business, right? As long as you're not actively trying to defraud people, that's the worst case scenario for it. We understand the risk, we assume them, and we push forward with it. As far as the wallet, right now, it's just me, that has access to the funds. They will be vested. And Ben's mentioned moving to a multi-sig wallet, and it's a good idea, and we'll do that as we get closer to launch. But right now, it's just me because I'm the one moving the funds and paying folks for the AMAs. And unfortunately, those transactions happen at all hours of the night. So it's just the ease of use at the moment right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm just pushing through these questions. There's a lot of people with their hands up here. So
Sure.
Just going to try to get through this here. Let's go with Tyler Hemsworth. I've unmuted you. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. My question: lot of the NFT games right now are really good games, but all of them have some problems, such as token is down. Too many issues in game, such as lagging server issues, hackers, and I'm really sure that you have such a awesome team to fix these issues, but can you explain different method for us a little bit?
Sure. So some of the concessions that I mentioned that we made earlier were some of the transactions were moved off chain essentially. So, we had to have conversations about, being true to the Web3 space and what that represents and how the game interacts with the blockchain and transparency. But we also had to have conversations about game playability. So, that's why the first iteration is, individuals on an island that interact with other accounts, as opposed to this just huge playthrough metaverse, as we continue to build, because, the thing that our developer kept saying, again, he's experienced in this space, is if it's not fun, they're not going to play, right? And if there's quality issues, they're not going to pay. So, we kind of kowtowed to their expertise when it came to the playability, keeping a game small enough that you don't have those lagging issues, moving some of the transactions off chain. So people don't have to pay $1.25 every time they come to play the game because everything is transaction based. But yeah, so we took that into an account. We haven't seen those issues, beta testing thus far, but if we have them, we'll address them.
Tyler, is that okay? Awesome. I think that you answered this question. I'm going to go and ask a question here from the chat now. All right. Where was it now? Everything's moved. Bear with me 1 second. Here it is. It's from Elvis Ford, and it said, is there some sort of guidebook available to learn more about the details of the gameplay? Is it easy to learn, or should we be skilled before playing the game?
It'll be easy to learn. There won't be a guidebook, but there'll be the new walkthrough like they do in all of the games now, right? The first 2 minutes is click this button to perform this action. When you first enter the marketplace, it'll be an informational tab that says, this is what the marketplace is, and this is how you use it, etc. So there'll be a basic walkthrough, and you don't have to be experienced. It's really just a strategy game based around risk mitigation and building relationships with other players.
All right, perfect. Now let's go and take one. Let's see what we got for time here. A little bit over time here, but are you guys okay to ask or to take a couple more questions?
Sure.
That's so many here. All right.
Yeah, I'm available.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so I've got a question here from Alex Costa. I think it's a good question, and it says the gap between traditional gamers and blockchain gamers is still wide open. How can the game bridge this to attract more traditional players to try new blockchain-based games? What is your plan to expand the adoption of your project to the traditional gamer? And then he has another question after that, but I'll wait until you address this one.
Yeah. I think part of what drives that adoption is how fun is it to watch other people play the game too, right? I'm a father, and that's how I got into Minecraft, watching a bunch of YouTubers play it. I spend time on Facebook gaming, watching a bunch of, Madden football gamers, 2K gamers, Apex gamers. And I think it's those ambassadors to the game that help blow it up. And, that's what we've already started doing, right? We started reaching out to Facebook gamers who have some interest in what we do, right? And I think really the dice game is going to be the kind of game that you can bridge content around, that you can have fun, talking trash and gambling with your friends online. And, we've reached out to streamers and game content creators who are already kind of in the spirit of that. And the good thing about it is, even if we wanted to pay them to play the game for, maybe an hour or two to a community that they've already built, the pricing in the Web 2 space is so much cheaper than it is in the Web 3, where it might cost you, $2,000 or $3,000 to get somebody, a popular gamer in the Web 3 space. You can do it for a couple $100 in Facebook gaming and the Twitch space. So that's the plan, is to get them in on the Web 2. So the onboarding process is not very difficult. The Dice minigame is going to be in the App Store and the Google Play Store. So that's our first line of attack, is to get 2 or 3 strategic streamers, gamers that already have a community on Facebook to play our game an hour a week and get their audience involved. We also have our events where, we're working with a guy named D-Boy Sinatra, and he had a really good advice where entrance to his concert is a QR code, and the QR code is downloading the dice game, right? It's really just about getting eyes in the project. And if we were going to use his method and require that, you're talking about a $5 acquisition cost per new user or new download. So we've already been working on some of that traditional marketing and going from there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. The last part of his question is, will the time limit or duration a player stays in the game increase his chances of gaining more rewards than players who do not stay longer? And will there be an in-game leaderboard that features the winners in real time, basically whoever is leading?
So there will be leaderboards, and yes, there is a time element to it, right? Every one of these NFTs are upgradable. Businesses, transport, farms, distribution points, but there are your house that you start with, but there are time elements involved with that, and cash. So it's a combination of cash and time that allow those updates. So yes, people who play more and spend more time in the game will have boost and increases. And that's one of the suggestions that the game development team made, right? That wasn't initially in our white paper, being able to upgrade specific items. But again, those are just some of the small little tweaks that they were able to make that makes, playability more fun.
I'm kind of stoked to try this game out, man. I'm definitely going to try to and play it. Become the biggest drug lord. Jeez. And so next question here is from the Crypto Lord. And the question, he says, I was going through your white paper and I noticed that your NFT market is only opened to your NFTs. Will we be able to have NFTs other than the ones that are in your game available to be purchased and sold on this marketplace as well?
So the answer is yes. And we have some really cool things that are on the roadmap for that marketplace. And keep in mind that website was one of the initials before we started building out some of the other aspects. One of the features I'm most excited about in that marketplace is, since it's catered towards, creators and musicians, they will have the ability to split the commissions an infinite number of ways, right? So that really caters towards artists. Because in music, there's not one person who creates a song, right? There's band members, there's producers, there's, so that's one of the features we're putting into the marketplace. And yes, you will be able to sell other items that you've purchased other places in our marketplace. One of the things that I think hasn't been focused on is one of the gaps I saw in Web3 and NFT music is there's really not a place to go and enjoy your content in a meaningful manner, right? There's not very many user interfaces. Let's say you bought 12 songs off of OpenSea and you bought one song off of Rarible. Well, where do you go to listen to it? So we built a media player where you can create playlists, you can favorite things, you can share them. So you can really come to the game, not do anything, but use it just as a place to enjoy all your audio and visual NFTs as well, which we have developed in our platform, which I'm excited about. Because I own music NFTs, and if it's not like a streaming site, I didn't know where to go to take them and listen to them. Like, who wants to sit on OpenSea and click through, each one of the NFTs individually? So I think once you see that, that'll be pretty awesome as well.
That's exceptional. I love that. We're going to take another question from the chat here. Smokey, I've unmuted you just because I like your name. Smokey, go ahead and ask your question, please. Watch, I've mispronounced it, and they don't know I'm talking to them. Smook, why? I thought it was Smokey. There you are. Maybe some technical difficulties. I see you're unmuted, Smokey. Are you talking into your mic right now?
Hello, my.
Yeah, there you go. I can kind of hear you.
Necessary to own playing the game. Not sure.
Can you please?
Pay.
Oh, you're cutting in and out, my friend. Could you try and repeat yourself?
With my question?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything, actually. You cut out almost completely.
Sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, my friend. Maybe try to go get yourself to a better location, and then we'll take your question again at the end.
I think he asked, is it necessary to own NFTs to play the game? Is that what you're asking?
I'm repeat my question. About the land NFTs, I wanna know, is it necessary to own them before playing the game? If yes, how much should we pay for them?
So it's not required to own the NFTs to play the game. It's required to play the game at scale. Excuse me. So we tried to model it after the actual drug trade, right? You can go out there, you can be a lone syndicate member, buying drugs and selling them, buying them low, selling them high. And, it's basically an art game, or you can try to build an empire. If you're trying to build an empire, or if you're trying to build a niche in a game, then you need to own NFTs. We haven't priced them out yet. We're getting through the TGE portion of the project first. Then we'll take a look at the market conditions, probably take some feedback from the community as well, and then we'll do a not a token generation event, sorry, an NFT launch for the syndicate members, and then the transport, distribution, laundering, and farm NFTs will be able to be purchased in game. Sorry.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Okay. I'll take one more question here from the chat, and then I'm going to let you guys go because you've had 2 AMAs already today. And the question has disappeared. Oh, here it is. It's from Angel. And the question is, looking at your website and your tokenomics, I don't see any allocation to insurance. I want to know, if something goes wrong with the project, will you have some sort of like wallet or some way for people to indemnify themselves from loss? That's the question. I'm just the one who asks it.
Is that a common thing right now? Like, do people usually have an insurance percentage? I'm not even really sure how that would work with the token itself. Like, is it something like
starting to happen with launch pads, though, mostly, right? Because that would be the logical
I've seen it in launch pads, but we don't have one.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you're doing insurance in your own token, like if the worth of the token went down, just having more tokens doesn't really insure it. You'd want probably like a different token, in my thoughts. Like you'd want to get like the price back in Polygon or whatever it's pairing to. So whoever's doing that with their own token, I don't know. It's a quirky idea to me, I guess.
No, of course.
They're doing it in
inflation. Yeah. Yeah, the launchpad makes sense, and honestly, I haven't seen it actualized in a launchpad yet. It's just a lot of talk right now, because obviously indemnifying the many to protect the few, or indemnifying the few by taking the many's money is a tricky subject, right? Okay, so I think what we'll do that'll be.
And I will say one thing to that effect, right? As far as an insurance, this project was self-funded. So, it's not just a project that I care about, but I have skin in the game, right? We didn't go to VCs or anything like that to initially get this thing going. The co-founder and myself put our own funds into this thing. So we have a vested interest outside of just token allocations and things of that nature for this thing to succeed. We believed in it. We think we found a gap in the space, specifically given the demographics of the Web3 space and the reception that we've had from what we've already developed from, the people we present our project to. So if there's any insurance, is that my own money's into it. We aren't building this project with the raise, which you see in a lot of these things, right? They hold the token raise, then they take the funds. They say they're going to build something. Oh, it goes bad and it disappears. No, this thing has already been being built. It's been being built with our actual capital. So, I know that's not a specific insurance fund per se, but it is a statement to, what this project is and what it represents. So, I mean, it's the very definition of putting our money where our mouth is.
I agree. That's one of the things that I noticed. That's one of the things that makes me bullish about this project is the team behind it, the marketing team behind it. I think if anyone here who's listening has been a part of any of the AMAs that we do, that's always something that I mention strongly is if you're investing, make sure that you trust the team, make sure you know kind of where their heart is, what their experience is, what they've done in the past, and then go from there. So I completely agree with you there. So I think what we'll do now is we've had a good run at it here. I think we've gotten all the information out, but I want to give you guys the floor to talk about anything that you maybe feel that we didn't cover. And then if you could close up just by reminding the investors of the date of the private sale, and then of course the date of the launch as well. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak for a second, but I mean, one thing is that we're about to do our first launchpad sale tomorrow. It's actually a whitelisted sale, so if anyone does want to participate in it, they do need to be whitelisted. And we gave you for SIG to have like a certain amount of whitelist spots. So I'd like to, make sure that if people are excited that they come to you, they get one of your whitelist spots, and you're able to bring it to us in the next day or so we can whitelist them.
Indeed, it's in the process right now. We've got a lot of information out there across a lot of different channels about the whitelists and then the private sale, and indeed even the project. We're quite excited about this project. Just to answer that, and then was there anything that maybe we didn't talk about that you guys wanted to really quickly touch on?
No, I think the biggest thing is we aren't just folks who decided to create a token one day. We actually have a very strong business background, building businesses from the bottom up. So I think we touched on, every aspect that we need to make this project successful from the Web 2 side and the Web 3 side. So, just to retouch on what Ben stated, I really do hope people take a look at this with a different investment time horizon and ride the train and get rewarded at the end, because we do have not only big plans, but we already have them in place. We already have the pieces. We already have the connections, the partnerships, and the collaborations. Now it's just a matter of time.
Ben, was there anything that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I mean, just for me personally, I mean, I've had good experiences in the space, bad experiences in this space. This is a project that's fully doxed, that you can easily look up anybody that's involved with it. It's a project that is fully self-financed. I think in what this project is and what it's able to do, it's just really rare in this space, basically. Like in this particular startup crypto, dare I say, shitcoin space. I think you just see a lot of projects come and go very rapidly. Even when they seem like they're a feasible business, it seems like they still fail, disappear, just don't do what they're saying they're going to do, right? And I'm a personal believer in this project, and I'm trying to only work with projects where I truly am excited and interested in what the project's doing. And so I personally do think this is going to be a successful project, and I do think that it's something that I'm fine to put my name on, to put my face on it, things like that, just what the project is, because I feel confident in what it's able to do. And I'd like to just kind of express that to the people that are listening, that like this is a project that like me as a person that's been on like many projects before as a marketer, this is one that I am giving my personal, thumbs up of approval on, for what it's worth. But I think it's just something that like people just really need to like come into the Telegram and take a look at it. And I think you'll see that like this, it's just not operating like most other projects in this space. Basically, it's like pretty straightforwardly like an actual business.
So interesting that you say that that you're willing to put your face on it because you believe in it. And I think that actually speaks volumes, because the majority of projects in this space, people, you wouldn't want to have your face on that because it's probably going to last maybe like a day and a half to 2 days. Majority of projects out there. So
yeah, I mean, I have a call channel myself, and so there's many projects I see come and go very rapidly just through my own call channel, where it's like they may not be like literally a scam, but it's like basically a pump and dump, or it's just something that I can't imagine it would be here 3 months from now.
Yeah, and I think that one of the reasons why that happens is they don't really have utility. They're just meme tokens. They are, at their essence, Ponzi's that hopefully you bought low on and sold high on. And that's the end of what the project is. This one's much different than that. This one has depth of character, has an exceptional team, and has a long road outlook. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us here, bringing this project and also showing your faces and having patience with all of our questions for you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
We're going to do some giveaways here. We also have whitelist giveaways. So to you guys from the team, you don't have to stick around for that. I'm sure you probably like to have a snack or have a nap or something. It's probably been a long day. So we'll let you guys go. We'll send you this video and, of course, all of the whitelists as well. And we'll keep redirecting people to your Telegram. And, yeah, bless you guys. Appreciate you. Expecting really great things.
Yep, thank you. I'm going to jump out myself. But yeah, just I definitely want to make sure that we get all the waitlist spots in so we can make sure they can actually buy in tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's tomorrow at I forget exactly which time it's at. I think it's at 7:30 p.m. UTC.
Yeah, I think it's like 3:30 Eastern.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it is 3:30 Eastern, so 7:30 p.m. UTC, and it's on GemPad, and it's whitelisted. So you'll need to get the whitelist from us or somewhere else. I'm guessing the Gleam or the Sweep widget's a much harder place to get whitelists from. So keep your eyes open, guys. In fact, stay on here. I'm going to do some giveaways now.